Okay. I finally got my numbers back up to $150 a month. My goal is $200. My goal was $200 by the end of 2024, but that didn't happen. I got pretty close to $150. I think I got to $150-ish after the new year. Let's go back and look. Okay, 149 was my high last year. Yeah, that was in December. So in December, I had it up to 145. 149, almost 150. And then I got a dividend cut and it dropped down to like 130 or something like that, maybe a little less. And I was like, ah! And it took me 3 months to get it back up to 150. So, but I also haven't been investing as aggressively the last 3 months because my dad passed away. And I had to allocate some funds to taking care of his estate because my dad basically didn't understand generational wealth. He didn't pass anything down. He pretty much squandered everything. He had life insurance, but he canceled it a year before he died. Almost a year before he died. He canceled it on his 70th birthday. And then he died just after Christmas. So, yeah. No life insurance. Fortunately for us, he already had his funeral arrangements all taken care of. The only thing out of pocket there was we had to buy extra death certificates, certified death certificates. My mom's boyfriend, my mom and dad have been divorced for most of my life now. They got divorced when I was about 16, 17, something like that. And so anyways, she bounced around looking for love in all the wrong places, but she finally found a decent guy who actually believes in generational wealth, and he doesn't really know much about it. His brother did, and so his brother kind of helped him with his retirement plan, although his son sucks. He's basically a criminal. So his son's not going to get anything. My brother and I probably won't get anything either. It'll probably pass down to his grandchildren. So, me, I'm trying to create generational wealth for maybe my kids and also my nieces, my nephews, and their kids, my grandchildren, and then my goddaughter, and her offspring, and maybe doing what I don't know how to phrase this, but you know, it's like, not to sound greedy, but it probably will sound a little greedy. You know, it's like, I would like, or I would hope that my mom's boyfriend would pass down some stuff to us, because he's not passing it down to his son, because his son is pretty much garbage. But my brother was on that same path for a while, and he made a turn and made his life better. So it's possible that his son could change, but who knows? We'll see. But anyway, so doing unto others as I would like others to do unto me, I have two used to be stepdaughters that I saw as my own daughters, although they have nothing to do with me now, because, you know, their mother basically had an affair on me, and then she went around and she's not a narcissist, I don't think, but she did a smear campaign on me, basically telling everybody I was a pedophile, when I was the best parent those kids have ever had, you know, next to their mother. But I was probably a better parent to them than their own mother. So, not to sound egotistical or anything, but, you know, I treated them as if they were my own. I tried to raise them as good, responsible adults. I tried to educate them properly. You know, I always wanted a daughter, so I probably treated them better than I did my own sons. You know, but my sons, I've always been kind of, what do they call it, estranged. So my kids' mothers, because I have two different kids by two different moms, they basically kept them away from me. And of course, being a truck driver, that didn't help. So when I got in a relationship with Mary, I was with her for 7 years, longest relationship I ever had. And so at first I didn't really want to be a father figure. I didn't want to be a father to the kids, to the girls. I just wanted to be like a father figure. But, you know, things happen, you get attached. You know, of course, I wasn't really that attached to their mother in the beginning either. But I fell in love with her. I wasn't in love with her right away. I grew in love with her. And I grew in love with the children. So I got attached. And they were like my own. And I thought we were going to be together forever, happily ever after, blah, blah, bull crap. So, whatever. So, like I said, if her daughters come back into my life, then I would include them in my generational wealth. Trust. My brother and I are learning how to set up a trust, basically like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all the other guru people like Donald Trump and probably Elon Musk. We're trying to figure out how to set up a trust. Now, Donald Trump, back in 2007 when I was doing real estate, I went to the Donald Trump seminar, and he was talking about, or his people, he wasn't actually there. That would have been cool if he was. But his people were talking about, and I still got the digital recording because I recorded the whole thing on like a portable, like, you know how the interviewers and stuff used to have those cassette tape portable recorders, and they would record interviews. Well, I had a digital one of those, and I basically recorded the whole seminar digitally, and I have it in my database somewhere, and I need to listen to it again. It's hard to make out because of all the background noise, but if you listen to it closely enough and long enough, you can really, your brain will tune in. It's amazing how the brain works. It's kind of like when you have music playing when you first fall asleep. When you first lay down, the music's not that loud, but then as you go to sleep or fall to sleep, or as you're laying there, your brain focuses on the music and it gets louder, and you can hear it because you're tuning everything else out. And then you got to get up and turn the volume down a little bit. At least how I usually do. So it's like I turn it down to where I can just barely hear it because I know my brain's going to tune into it. So usually I get it on the first try now. But anyway, so Donald Trump seminar, one of the things that we're talking about was a family limited partnership. And so you want to put all your assets in an LP, but you want it to be a family limited partnership, which is pretty cool. But anyway, so back to this. I got my percentage, or got my dollar amount back up to $150 a month. So now I'm back where I was in December, and moving up. So yeah, I hadn't been doing it as hardcore because I had to dump not a bunch, but I had to dump money into my dad's estate to take care of his passing. And so I've kind of been slowly building back up my savings and getting back to where I was in December. So I have grown it. And the other thing too, not to worry about, is, it's like, yeah, right now I'm doing high yielding dividend stocks because I'm trying to invest in things that pay a higher yield than the interest rate on my debt. Once I get my credit cards paid down, then the next highest interest rate is my pickup truck, which is 14%. So then I'll start investing in things that have a higher yield than the interest rate on my pickup truck, which is 14%. So that's my strategy. And my strategy may not be the best strategy, but it's working. So, one of the guru guys that I follow basically poo-pooed my strategy. And like I said, it may not be the best strategy, but it's working for me now. Short term, it's working. Long term, maybe not. I might have to tweak it. I'm going to tweak it anyways. I'm always tweaking it. And you should always tweak your strategy and try to make it better all the time. But basically my strategy is if it pays 26%, I invest $26. Unless it is a ETF or a REIT, then I would invest $260. Or like this percentage here says, 26.27. Then if it's a REIT or an ETF, I might just move the decimal point over and invest $262 or $263, because 0.7 I would round that up. If it's 0.5 or higher, I round it up. So, or I would just go $260. Just depends on how much money I have to throw around. If it's like 22.85, then I would invest $23. If it's a REIT or an ETF, then I would either move the decimal point over or slap a zero on the 23. So I'd either invest $230 or I'd invest $229. You know, whatever I feel like investing that day, whatever I have available. Different concepts, you know. It's like, but basically I'm going to add more to it if it's a reliable, dependable investment. Now, REITs are a little bit more risky than ETFs, but ETFs are generally safe investments. Some are safer than others, and the higher the yield, the more risky it is, typically speaking. So later, when I have more time to do more research, when this is more of a full-time gig, then I'll start investigating each and individual stock that I'm investing in. You know, for example, if the earnings per share is upside down, then if it's a REIT or an ETF, I may not throw a zero on that. I may not, you know, if it's supposedly a dependable, reliable stock, I may not throw a zero on that. So that'll be another thing that I'll be looking at in the future. Right now, if I got the money and it's a REIT or an ETF, then I just slap a zero on it, call it good. Or if I don't quite have enough, like say, let's go over here. So like this is ARRPRC. If I was, it paid 6%. So if I was to slap a zero on that, it'd have been $60. But with Webull, you can only buy the share. And if I would have bought 3 shares, it would have threw me over the balance that I had in the account. So I didn't have enough. So I just bought 2 shares instead. So that's basically my strategy. So far, so good. I'm making money. You know, like I said, short term, my strategy is working. Long term, maybe not so much. But again, in the future, and I should probably be doing this now. Maybe I just kind of thought of it, but maybe in the future, I'll look at the earnings per share like I used to, and be like, okay, even if it's a REIT or an ETF, if the earnings per share is in the negative, then I'll just, you know, throw in the $26 instead of investing $260. You know, give them a little bit of money, but not too much. You know, increase my dividend, but not too much. Because if they're upside down, it's kind of like being upside down on your mortgage. You know, you're high risk. So if your earnings per share is upside down, it's high risk. So something to keep in mind. Like Zim is borderline. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so good, but they're managing, you know. I don't know how they're managing. I haven't done extensive research. But so far, I've made money with Zim. You know, some people say, oh, it's risky, but, you know, and it is. It's kind of a roller coaster. My brother, my dad, and my girlfriend couldn't handle the roller coaster, and they all bailed out. I was the only one who stayed in, and I made money. So, anyway. So here is my Robinhood 1099 for last year. And basically, I had approximately 3,600 invested, I think. And my gains was $937. Hang on. I'll call her back. So my gains were $937, which is pretty good. All right. And then yeah, over here, I think I could have swore, I guess I didn't screenshot the total dividends. Oh, it's over there in the summary. I'm gonna pause this and go look at it real quick and see if I can't screenshot the dividends. Okay, I was looking in the wrong place. So, okay, I did get it in a screenshot. So, over here is my gains, $937. Up here at the top is my dividends. So I made $505 in ordinary dividends, and I made $199 in what they call qualified dividends, whatever that means. So, yeah. So I've made over $1,000 last year, just in my gains and my dividends, and that is just Robinhood. So since this dividend tracker thing isn't working anymore, and I'm not sure why, I've started using different things like this here. This isn't giving a proper dividend yield. But anyways, I'm using that. I'm also using the NASDAQ app over here. And then my dividend tracker with the palm tree is how I track all of my stuff. And so basically, I look at my portfolio and say I look into here, it's telling me right here what my yield is. So 7.69 or 10 on cost. Dividend growth, very slow in the last year. Average over the last 5 years. So, just as an example. So, I'm not, even if I get a dividend cut, I don't freak out, because I look down here and the numbers just go up. They don't go down. You know, of course, this is projected. You know, it's projected to go up. I don't know, about 9%. I did the calculation the other day. Dividend growth the last 12 months was almost 8%. So I'm not doing too terribly bad. I'm making, you know, this is all after tax, right? So let's go over here and go before tax. Before tax, I'm making 28 to 33% over $2,000 a year. Almost my $200 a month. Over the next 10 years, it's going to grow to over $3,000 a year. Percentage is still growing by almost 8%. Dividend growth over the last 5 years is down. But once I start adding more stable stocks to my portfolio, that will change. You know, I will get some more dividend cuts over time, but they'll balance out. And the higher yielding dividend stocks will help me pay for the lower yielding dividend stocks. So, for example, BITO. I've invested enough in the BITO to where I'm basically almost making enough to reinvest, say, the percentage if I do not throw a zero on it, which the last 3 months I have not been doing because I've been tight on funds. So, you know, if I reinvest $52 every month, because the percentage is 52%, and I'm making 45, well, once I get that up to $53, that extra dollar will go towards investing in other things. So as I grow my stock, my dividends, once the payout surpasses the amount that I'm going to be putting back in, then I just reinvest it somewhere else. So it will start helping me pay for the lower dividend yielding stocks. And that's the other part of my strategy. The other reason why I'm investing in high yielding stocks right now. Start high and then work my way down the list. So let me go over here real quick. Now this is a total earnings. Since I've been doing Cash App, I haven't figured out quite how to look at the annual one yet. But if you look at my overall investments, overall I'm up by 2%. I'm making $231 overall, and then my dividends are $467. So 4, 5, 6, we'll just say $700. Overall, I've made $700. Now, my gains are down by about $100, but I've been also cashing stuff out. And I've only cashed out stuff when it makes money. So, for example, if I was going to follow my normal rule, I would have cashed out Tesla by now, because it's up to over $1 profit. It actually was up to like $7 profit. But right now I'm just playing with Tesla. It's the only stock. Well, not the only stock. It's one of the only stocks that I'm using as a day trade. Tesla, Crocs, and Robinhood stock are, I think, the 3 stocks that I'm using as day trades. That and digital currency, but I'm not quite using digital currency as a day trade. Basically what I'm doing is I buy $1 worth every weekend, or almost every weekend, as the crypto goes down. So if the crypto's in the negative, I'll buy $1. And in that way, I'm just kind of holding on to it as extra currency, a digital currency, like it's supposed to be used for. And then if for whatever reason in the future I need to use it, I'll go look at what digital currency I have, and whatever's not in the negative, I'll be like, oh yeah, I have, Trump coin, or I have Doge, or I have Bitcoin, whatever's up at the moment. I'll be like, yeah, I can purchase this product with this coin. And then that way, because I've made money on the DC, the digital currency, the crypto, since I've made money on it, then I technically will get a discount on said product when I purchase it. So that's my strategy there. I'm not making a lot of money on crypto. I don't have a lot of money invested in crypto, like $75 at best, I think I have. So, because I don't do it every weekend, it's like when I got the extra money and I got the extra time, I'll sit and go through the crypto and I'll buy $1 of each that are down at the moment. And I'll lose some money on some of them, but I'll make some money on the others, and we'll see how I pan out. But I'm really not messing with crypto all that much at the moment. I'm mostly focusing on dividend stocks, because that's where I think the money's at. So I'm basically just waiting for anything on this list that I cannot buy at Robinhood to get over $1 in profit, and then I'll cash it out. Actually, over $1.02, because it cost me 2 cents for the trade, and I want to make at least $1 on the trade. So I'm waiting for it to get to $1.03, and then I'll cash it out, or anything better than $1.03, $1.04. And actually, I try to wait till $1.04 because it could drop a penny while I'm doing the transaction, and then whatever. So I try to keep it to where I'm making at least $1 on the transaction. So meanwhile, every time I get a dividend, like over here, I reinvest. So while I'm waiting for the stock to go up, even though I'm treating, because I can buy these stocks, these 2 Carters and Sealed Air, I can buy both of them at Robinhood. So I'm treating them like a day trade right now. I'm getting the dividend every whenever, month, quarter, year. And then so I reinvest a little bit, so I'm getting more dividends. But when the stock goes back up, I make at least $1. Boom, I'm cashing it out. And then I'll reinvest it later at Robinhood. So, yeah. ARR, I had the money, so I went in ahead and threw in $160 because it pays every month. It's a decent, stable REIT. It paid me $6 almost this month. It'll pay me at least 6, maybe 7 next month, and every month thereafter, pretty much. It'll just keep going up because I'll keep putting more money in. I think ARR is paying a little bit more than 6%. The extension was paying 6%. So ARR, I mean, it's down a little bit, 10%, but the money I'm losing on cash value, I'm pretty much making back in dividends. The only time I'm going to be really scared of it is when it drops below maybe 30%. Then I might stop investing if it drops below 30% gains. Because that's probably a red flag. Yeah, it's paying, 16% because I threw in $160. Duh. But anyway, it's been consistently paying me every month. So I consistently invest every month. But anyways, I guess that's it. I gotta go here in a minute. I'm gonna jump off here at the Love's truck stop, go to the bathroom. It's my last bathroom break opportunity before my delivery. I got people wanting to go around me, but they're behind me because I'm struggling to pass this car. They keep speeding up and slowing down. My truck's governed to 70. These people want to go 70, 69, 68, 70, 69, 68, 67. It's like they speed up, they slow down, they speed up, they slow down. And I can't get around them because my truck only does 70. It's very frustrating, very disturbing to me. And then it's even more frustrating to the people behind me that want to pass because they got 100-mile-an-hour vehicles. And they're like, what the fork is this guy doing in my forking way? Get the fork out of the way, forking truck drivers. But, our trucks are governed. most of our trucks, most of us out here, our trucks are governed. We can only do 60, 65, 70. So yeah, when I see a prime truck and I jump out in the left lane, better believe that truck is a slow truck, and I'm gonna be passing him pretty soon. So I'm jumping out in the left lane anytime I see a prime truck, because I don't want to get stuck in the right lane behind him when nobody will let me pass, or nobody will let me jump out. See, now this guy's now my truck's beeping at me because this guy's slowed down again. I got behind him, he sped up to 70, so I got back behind him, he slowed back down, now he's doing 67. Freaking idiot. But anyways, I'm jumping off here in 1 mile. So, alright, party on. Okay, yeah, my cruise control just kicked off. So let me know your strategy in the comment section. If you know of any stocks that are decent, stable stocks, let us know. I'm also in the Discord of Gen X Dividend Investor, and I'm also in the Discord for the Minority Mindset. So if you want to communicate there, just look up Kano, Caino, Cain and Abel with an O, and we can communicate on Discord as well. I got my own dividend stock Discord thingy, but I don't think I have any members, and I don't think anybody cares because I'm not cool like other people. But I'm not a guru yet, and I'm not as organized as some of these people. I'm kind of like, I tell people I'm OCD ADD, and they say, what does that mean? And I say, it means I'm an organized mess. But anyways, I like ARR, I like ZEM, I like PBR, I like BITO. Those are my favorite high-yielding dividend stocks. S&P 500 is always good. There's like several S&P 500 ETFs, so some pay better than others. I'm basically going to invest in everything, and then the ones that I deem to be better, more stable, more valuable stocks, I'll invest more in the future. And then the others I'll invest less in. And if you have any insight too on how to set up trusts and generational wealth, let us know about that too, because we the people should know more about that stuff. The people who are rich are keeping us dumb and poor, and we the people need to network and work together and help each other learn how to be more successful and pass down generational wealth to our children, so that our children and our grandchildren and so on and so forth aren't slaves to the system. Okay. Party on.